person you hate? Like. Okay, wait, never mind.
Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place.
Pretend you like the song.
Our place, you'll find a friend to care.
Woo! We are Our Place Out Loud. We are that friend who cares. I am your lovely and delightful host, Louise Palanker, here with a marvelous panel of wise and wonderful teens. We have Montana, Kimute, Ryan, Nico, Devin, John, Laura. Some of them, as we move through the lineage, some of them have grown past teenageness, and but that's okay because that's life. That's what happens. I was once a teenager. Hard to picture. And it wasn't pretty, so don't. So we have a lot going on in the studio right now, and Matt, if you need to go over to the thermostat and pop the temperature down a couple notches, please do so, because I don't know if I wish we had like a camera like in the center that you could just spin. Oh yeah, so this is how many people are in the room. And the number is right after infinity, and it's called a lot. So
And it's not that big of a room either.
No, it's a regular, just a lovely studio, very cozy, very homey. And our guest in the studio is Nick from the Baka Boys, and he is a syndicated radio star. And say hello, Nick.
Star, you say?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Like
very kind.
from the heavens.
Thank you so much. Nick V, Baka Boys, syndicated radio show, 2 of them, Hip Hop Master Mix and the All-Star Hit Mix, played about 60 stations around America.
Yay. I come from the world of radio syndication.
Yay.
Have you heard of me?
I have.
Pretty famous.
You're the star here.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. But, it's very exciting to have you here, and I read your bio. All the kids have read your bio, so we all know that you kind of started at this when you were like maybe 12 years old?
Yeah, totally. 12 years old, DJing in a nightclub.
So there's a lot of 12-year-olds listening to the show right now.
Okay.
If they've got a passion, they may not have the capability of saying, hey, Dad, can I DJ tonight? They may not have the parents that you had or the ability to get out there, and maybe they can't afford a bike or a skateboard or whatever or a guitar, whatever they want. How do you advise young people that want to get started on their passion?
Well, obviously, you have to recognize it first and foremost and share it any way you can. You know, whatever it might be, whether it's skateboarding, whether it's DJing, of course, riding. Just get it out somehow, some way, and let somebody know. More than anything, you have to let them know, whether it's your parents, godfather, brother you never had, an uncle or something like that, or an auntie. Somebody's going to see that you are passionate about something, and they might help out. You never know.
And how did that happen for you?
Basically, being in the nightclub, we had a teen nightclub in Bakersfield. When I was younger, I'm not going to say the year, but it was up to 1,000 teenagers from 16 to 18, and I was around 11 or 12 years old, and it was a family-run business, and I seen the DJ there doing what he was doing, and I just lost my mind. I was like, Dad, I want to do this, to the point where after the club was over, it was shut down, everybody was cleaning up, and everybody's gone home. The DJ had left long ago. I would sneak back into the DJ booth and try to plug up the turntables and try to figure out how it worked. And the DJ who owned the equipment, he found out about it, was not happy about it, and he said something to my father, and my father said, guess what? You're fired. I know, that's terrible. But it was great, it's what I wanted to do. So he bought me an equipment. And I started DJing in the nightclub way too young.
So your dad was very supportive of this?
Absolutely. He's our biggest supporter. He drove us up and down from Bakersfield to L.A. to buy equipment, to buy records, take us to nightclubs in L.A. so we could play, just like, taking us around, the proud father that he was of our talent. And just basically he was our manager, our early manager.
That's awesome. Any questions for Nick V? Panel. Go, Rye.
Have you had any particularly scary experiences being a DJ?
Can I say this? Okay, yeah. I will be honest about it. Absolutely. I was probably 16, 17 years old, and, DJing was a way for me to make extra money. The nightclub business had not been going, it was done by that point. So we were doing mobile DJing whenever possible. So I was invited to come and DJ at a party in one of the not so nice neighborhoods in Bakersfield where I'm from. It's called the Okie. Anyone who knows anything about that part of town, there's drugs, there's guns, there's all that stuff. So I just want to DJ, and I'm going to get paid, I don't know, $60 or something like that. So there's this one particular song by a guy named Kid Frost called La Raza, and it was the big record at that point in time, 1991. So I played it, of course, and it was the biggest record of the night. And then they wanted to hear it again. Okay, cool, I'll play it again. No problem. And then they wanted to hear it again. And to the point I'm like, dude, I've just played it 3 times. And that's when that scary moment happened. He pulled the gun on me and said, if you don't play this record again, it's going to be a problem. And I got dropped off at the party. My turntables, my records, and my mom basically dropped me off at the party. So I had no choice but to play La Raza again.
Some people take their music very seriously.
Obviously.
Some people are crazy.
I was once at the Greek watching Neil Diamond, and I had a similar experience.
I can doubt this.
He played Forever in Blue Jeans 5 times in a row.
Oh, okay.
And now I know probably someone was holding a gun to him. Yeah, because at the time it was like, stop.
Yeah, that was my
Any other,
scary
Kyo?
So you started when you were 12.
Yeah.
How late were you staying out and up generally?
Well, like I said, it was a family thing. So we would be at the club until 2 or 3 in the morning. At one point, it was me and my brother. We were DJing the entire night. So we would shift. We would go in shifts. So we're there from 6 p.m. until 3 o'clock in the morning.
How did you manage school?
Are you? Is there something? Are you a dad? You need to tell us.
Well, I'm just imagining he's
Such a
12-year-old.
parental line of questioning.
No,
young man.
That's fine.
But how did you manage doing that? Because you were going to school, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to school. I was in 5th, 6th grade. So that turned me into kind of the cool dude, but also the weird dude.
Right.
At school. I'm taking records, vinyls to school. Like, you guys got to hear this record. You got to hear this song. Let me play this. And the teachers, she's one. They do like a dance thing, and they ask if anybody wants to bring some music. They can bring some music, and we can. And I'm taking the first 2 records that I ever mixed together to school. So this is in 6th grade. So at this point, I start getting looked at as this guy's he's not normal.
Right.
And that lasted all the way through high school. So it kind of got me hated on a lot, but also got me favors. I used to go and sell records at school in my backpack. Like, I don't need this one. It's $3 here. So just hustling and grinding and doing that. So, yeah, that's how I got through school, basically. Okay. I wasn't a great student. I was not a great student. I was in love with music.
That is so awesome. So what is your message to the kids?
Follow your dreams. Basically, you're going to make mistakes. Everybody does. Get through them. Look towards people who you trust, and that's it. Just be positive as you possibly can. Things get tough and get rough, but there's also a beautiful time to be had if you surround yourself with people that love you and you're passionate about what your future should be or want it to be. Just don't lose sight of that, and just have fun with life.
And listen to people with guns.
Yes. Play La Raza if they ask you to play it.
Did you ever sell that record? Like, I don't need this anymore, or did you think you needed it?
Every time I hear it, I think about that situation.
Wow. All right.
Who pulls a gun on a little kid, though?
I was like 16, 17 years old. Those are your ages,
It's a really good song, I think, is the lesson. All right, so we're going to jump into questions. You know what the show is all about, Nick.
I do.
All right, so we've got a question from Mad Mo Got a question. All of a sudden, I've been feeling disorganized. In school, I'm overwhelmed by all the homework my teachers are giving me. I have a big project. I waited to the last minute because I kept leaving the project in my locker by accident, and I have one more day to do it. I feel like I am a mess. I'm confused. I feel uncomfortable around everything, and I just don't get it. Thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, well, I'm very unorganized. And there was a long time, especially last year and sophomore year, when I thought this wouldn't be an issue because I just kind of I got my homework in and then I'd lose it. But I was like, okay, I already turned it in. What does it matter? And then one of our teachers towards the end of the trimester, because we're not on a semester system, was like, oh, yeah, guys, by the way, we have an entire portfolio due at the end of this trimester with all the homework you've done for the entire trimester. And I'm like, okay, that's going to be an issue because I don't have any of this. And instead of his response being like, oh yeah, it's in my grade book already, because it was, he checked it off like when I brought it in. It was, okay, I'll print it out, come to me on Monday, and you can do the whole trimester's worth of homework by Friday. And then write like a 7-page essay. It was crazy. But like, it will come back to haunt you. So as much as it like is one of those things where you can, and I know it's not easy, like I'm still not organized, but learn the best thing to do is to learn where you need to be organized and where it's okay to be kind of unorganized. So in my particular placement of like homework assignments, I'm really organized with that, but things that I know I probably won't need again, I don't really, they just go somewhere in my backpack.
But does that sound a little bit passive aggressive? Like she just keeps forgetting like, is that really just a way, an excuse to put it off?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think they would have written in and told us that.
Well, yeah, you want to do it the day before it's due, but why didn't she ever want to take it home? Like, to me, it feels like we make time for the things that we want to make time for, and we find ways of avoiding the things we wish to avoid. But now, I would say take this feeling, feel it, feel what this feels like, feel what this feels like, so that you say, I do not want this feeling ever again. Therefore, I will X, Y, Z. Nico.
That's a really important feeling to have. Make sure you feel like that all that schoolwork you do, that's going to add up to something eventually. You got to make sure you feel like there's a sense of progression when you're doing schoolwork. Like, when I came in from elementary school, I got hit by, like, from public to private. That was, like, a huge shift for me because then we had to focus on getting a bunch of homework done and stuff. It was ridiculous.
You guys did schoolwork now?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
That's harsh.
I was just going to say it's actually interesting how different public and private school is.
Yeah.
Like, even just not just the work that you do, but the way you do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy different.
Well, we'll go into that at another point in time, but I want to get Montana's thought, and then we've got a call waiting.
Okay, first of all, Ryan, did you end up doing like all that homework?
Yeah.
Okay, because I had exactly the same problem because I had the same project as Ryan, and
History of technology.
Hayes.
Yeah, exactly.
I basically told him, no, I will not do this, and wrote the essay anyway, and he still gave me an A, because I don't know why.
I got a C on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he likes me.
Oh my goodness.
Get your teachers to like you.
But that's definitely important. But yeah, I'm really disorganized, especially like now because for our school it's the end of the trimester, and I was really sick like last week, and I realized I have like 5 tests to do this week to make it up, and I have to do it this week, and it hit me that like I stopped and went back to school, and now I have everything to do. So okay, I got this. I made a list of everything I have to do. And once I'm all done with it, I'm going to like burn all the things I don't need.
Yeah.
And it's so satisfying, and it really gives you reason to be like organized and everything.
Lists
although
are good.
This list is not going to end.
Can you
will
show it,
never
please,
end.
to the camera? I think it looks like a really fun list.
Or read it.
If you can read it. It's in green. I like that so
It's
far.
in green. I
Yeah.
stole this pen.
Nice. All right. Very good. All right. We have a phone call. Hello. Thanks for calling our place. Who's this?
Hello.
Mrs. Jordan Chris Colfer?
Yes, it is.
Did you have a question for our guest star tonight, Nick V?
I do not, but I have an answer for this question.
Very good. An organizational tip?
Okay, so I'm exactly the same way, and I think what's going on is they're getting so anxious that they're getting behind, because that's been happening a lot, and I get so worked up that I end up never getting anything done and forgetting a whole bunch of stuff. So what you probably need to do is just take a moment, or like right in the morning as soon as you wake up, just take a moment and breathe. Maybe before or after lunch, take a moment and breathe. And then right before you go to bed, take a moment and breathe. You will calm down a whole lot more, and you will probably remember. Also, get more sleep. It will help with memory.
Wait, if you only breathe 3 times a day, I don't see that.
No, like deep breathing.
Oh, okay. To think about your breath.
Yes.
Okay. Very, very good. Kia wants to talk to you.
I was just giving a tip or my say on this question.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I mean, I'm very disorganized. Usually my backpack, I start off great. And,
Oh, we all do.
super organized.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Same.
I'm gonna keep organized the rest of the year.
This is the year.
This is great.
Yes.
And I'm like, this feels awesome. I love being organized. And then I start just throwing papers in my backpack, and I'm like, this feels great. I love not having to put things in my backpack. This is awesome.
I'm like that same way with it, but I think the thing I love most about it is the procrastination aspect, where I'm
Yeah.
like, why would I put something in my binder now if I can just do it later?
Yeah.
And then when it's later, I'm like, why would I do it now if I can do it another later?
It doesn't change when you get older either. I'll
Yeah.
do laundry and wash like all my nice shirts, and I'll be like, I'm gonna hang all these up. It's gonna be sweet. And then I get home from work, and I'm like, I'm just gonna throw this on the ground.
Yep,
And then
yep.
same thing with my car. I'm like, I'll take this trash out later. And then like 4 weeks later,
Yeah.
I'm living in a landfill.
Yeah, we can smell your car from
I
here.
know it's pretty bad.
But my
Landfill.
my advice would be to just start, because just push yourself that extra push to start. And once you've started, you just keep on starting, basically, until you're finished.
Yeah, one thing I really like when you're a grown-up and you have your own place is baskets. Baskets are awesome because instead of it looking like clutter on a countertop, it's just clutter inside a basket.
Yeah.
So you can attend to the basket like once a year, but if you don't think that you should throw it away, put it in a basket.
Organization, I'll speak to it because being a DJ, every day it's always new music. I have to retag it. I got to listen to it. I got to mark it. I got to do this stuff. And if I get behind schedule, then I'm not going to have the tools that I need to actually do my job. So same thing with the basket. Dirty clothes, put it in the basket. It's there. If put it in a folder, this is the folder that needs to be retagged and redone. And this is a daily thing for me. So if I get behind, I won't have the tools necessary when I'm actually doing my job.
Yeah, and then when you walk into a room, once you become a professional grown-up, and it's not just homework that you're doing because you think you're supposed to do it, but when it's your life, your goal, your passion, and you walk into a room and you see clutter, you don't see your goals. And proactive people like seeing our goals. So I will clean out that basket once a week because I don't like seeing the basket all the way to the top. That bothers me, and I can't sit down and answer questions from you guys because I feel like, oh, this room isn't ready for me to do work yet. So you just have to change your mind frame to where you don't accept clutter, whether it be physical or mental. Like, in other words, there's 10 things waiting for me to do. I feel weighed down.
And the list is great. Making the list is like, boom,
Yeah.
done,
Boom.
check it off.
Good.
Got the next one, check it off. Got to go. Next.
Thank you, Mrs. Colfer. You're the best. Thanks for calling. We will talk to you again.
Wheezy, can I have a trash bag before I go home?
Yeah, you may. Who wants to read the letter from Lovestick, Ryan?
You know, I always love reading.
I know.
Hearing my own voice.
So does Nico. Likes hearing other people's voices.
I'm sure Nico loves my voice most of all.
No, he likes hearing himself make other people's voices.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Love601 wrote, I recently got in a fight with two of my roommates. I told the third one what happened because I felt like she needed to know because she lives in the apartment as well. Throughout the whole argument, she kept agreeing that none of what was happening was my fault and that the others were being stupid. But then she just kept saying, I just want all of us to be friends. She would never stick up for me when the others were being mean to me. But once they left, she would always say that they were being stupid. Even when the fight got physical, she still wouldn't stick up for me. She says she has anxiety when it comes to these sorts of things, but she's a really good friend. Is she a really good friend if she never once stuck up for me and it still continues to unite the situation? Oh.
I think that's an autocorrect, and I'm trying to figure out what word she meant.
Yeah.
Because I usually I'm very
Ignite.
fluid at autocorrect.
Yeah, ignite maybe?
Ignite. Very good. Good job, guys.
Still continues to ignite the situation. How do I go about treating her if she isn't a good friend?
All right, let me just say something before I throw it to you guys because I wanted to differentiate with you two, Nick, because you work in nightclub where people can be very heated and disc jockey and radio industry. We know that people are very passionate and a lot of big personalities. So what is the difference between sticking up for someone or not sticking up for someone and choosing not to get in the middle of somebody else's argument? I don't think that this person is necessarily being bullied where someone is obligated to stick up, especially if they all live within the same confines. She may be just saying, you know what, you guys need to work this out because I have to be friends with both of you. So, well, how do you, because we always say, oh, the bystander has to stop the bully. Like, how do you differentiate between not taking sides because it's not your issue and sticking up for someone when that's required of you, Ryan?
Well, you can't very easily. And the first thought that came to mind is kind of what you were saying, which is that this person also has an obligation to be friends with both of you because she lives in the house too. So taking sides for her wouldn't be beneficial because then they're in the middle of it. I think it's one of those things where, yeah, it might be nice if they were to step in and just be like, hey, guys, let's calm down or something. Let's talk about it this way. And especially if it gets physical, I think if she's not stepping in, then maybe there's an issue. But I don't think it's that big of a thing because I don't know, when you guys are living together as young adults or adults, I think it's one of those things that you should be able to figure out on your own at this point. I don't think she's obligated to help. Nico, what do you think?
I mean, if you're gonna be in a situation like this where you got two separate friends and they're arguing about something, you need to play it Switzerland. You need to go in there and you got to be neutral. You got to be the one that calms them both down. You got to be the one that makes sure that they don't start smacking each other with nukes. And yeah, you got to make sure you're the one there who's the cool head, the one that can actually mediate between them, not the one who tells which one's right or wrong, the one who helps them decide which one's right or wrong.
Or who helps them decide that they're both a little bit right and a little bit wrong. But what the person who asked the question is the person who's asking her roommate to take her side, and this roommate may not have those types of mediation skills that you just naturally have. Not everybody is gifted that way. And Keo, what do you think?
Yeah, and not every situation. It really depends on a case-by-case situation and who else is in this fight, because sometimes people are, if you don't agree with them, then you're against them, basically. So you can't even be neutral. You have
Wow, that's interesting, yeah.
you have to be on their side or else you're against them. And so it's hard to always get in this type of situation and say something when it's like such a heated argument. You're going to get in the middle of it possibly.
Yeah, and I think from to speak to the person who wrote the letter, just because this person is not taking your side, that doesn't mean you need to also be angry at her. I think one of the things in life that's a huge mistake that a lot of people expect is they expect everyone to share their enemies. And I think that is way too much to ask of the world. You may choose to not get along with people, but if other people choose to get along with that person, they are not betraying you in any way. Everyone gets to make their own decisions about personalities, and especially, like I said, with the roommate situation where you can't really walk away and go home because this is home. Montana?
I agree. I think it's this girl is she's trying to just be neutral and not really get involved in it, and I understand that, but it's kind of not okay that while the other roommates in the room are arguing and then she does nothing, and then when they walk away she's talking behind their back.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
oh, they're stupid, you're right. Like, if you're going to be neutral and either tell her friend that that they're both a little bit right, a little bit wrong, and how to solve it, instead of like, oh, you're definitely right, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to sit here and let you guys deal with it.
Yeah, I agree that she's kind of talking out of both sides of her mouth to say what's convenient in the moment, but the part that I wanted to get into was once it becomes physical violence, we're talking about grown-ups in a roommate situation, I think, aren't we all above that? Yeah. Hopefully, Keo?
And I would say at that point, she definitely shouldn't be expected to get involved, because then it's like endangering her safety. But
yeah.
I agree with what you said, Montana, but also, Wheezy, you brought up that, like, I forget what I was about to say just now, but I know the general idea, sorry. She's talking kind of behind her back, but she might be talking to the other roommates saying the same thing. That might be her attempt to be neutral.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
What I was trying to say was
yes.
she doesn't have the same skills that necessarily Nico has to, like,
to mediate.
Yeah, mediate.
Yeah. Ryan?
I was going to say exactly that, and then I was also just going to say, you say she's not being a good friend, but sometimes it's hard for us to, like, think about what do we really mean when we want to have a good friend. Does that just mean being close to someone, or does that mean really caring for them, or does caring for them mean taking their side and everything?
Yeah, that's
because
the
she
question.
might have, like, Jake is my close friend. He's a good friend, but he doesn't always agree with me, even on things that aren't related to us particularly. We just disagree sometimes, and that doesn't make you not a good friend. It just makes you not in agreement with me.
Right, and if you walk through the world with that expectation, everyone's going to let you down at some point or another, and that's just not...
You're not going to be able to function, and you're just looking for other people to tell you what's right and what's wrong.
And you're going to have your feelings hurt every time
Constantly.
somebody says, that's not a good song.
Right.
Play that song again.
But
Play La Raza.
Play that song again.
We're not letting that go for the rest of the night.
That's comedy.
Nico, would you please read the letter from Mrs. Love?
All right. No voice?
Well, Howard's not here, so go to town.
All right.
hey, there's this guy that I've been friends with for like 5 years, and he's been trying to get with me the whole 5 years, but I've been pushing him off for other guys every time the whole 5 years. And now I realize how good he was to me. Bought me breakfast every day and stuff in general, and check on me every day, good morning text, and spend time with me. And now I want him. And I told him, but he's back with his ex-girlfriend who he broke up with for me of those 5 years. But I wouldn't give him a chance, and now I'm serious, and I want him. I don't know, he had a girlfriend now. I'm mad at myself, and I DK what to do. I'm 22 years old, and he's 24. Thanks.
So, has anyone noticed the recent phenomenon that Nico's voices devolve into Cartman? I don't know what to do.
I don't know.
I really love him. Kyle!
Why is Kenny so pretty? Kay's trying to be a chick right now. He's just rolling with it.
All right, so just quick question for the panel. Is it, 5 years is a long time to decide that you like someone or that you don't. Is this really just a case of not wanting what you know now you cannot have?
Yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah,
It's like I
On the
can't
shelf
have it
for
now.
5 years.
Yeah, it's been sitting there.
Go.
It's been sitting there, and now it's unavailable. So now I want it. That's just what it is.
Never know you love her. You're a lover till you let her go.
You never miss the water till the well runs dry.
I find it really hard to focus on the question with that.
Yeah,
The
what
performance.
was
How many years was it?
It was 5.
It was 5
Oh,
years. You see, I try to go for Valley Girl, then it just goes into Cartman.
But it was really good. It was beautiful.
My
I
voice
loved
acting
it.
career is over.
Thanks
Montana,
with the hair
Montana,
flip.
let a girl talk.
Oh, okay. So before the show, I was reading this to Jake, and he was like, "Oh, it's just another middle school question." I'm like, "They're 22."
Love never changes.
No.
This is the bad news.
Mrs. Love.
It
Mrs.
only gets worse.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's really just her being like, "Oh, now somebody else has him. Now I want." And I feel like she sort of feels a need to like monopolize because she's been leading on this guy for 5 years. That's not healthy. At some point, you should realize, like, he's my friend. I should let him go.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she needs to realize that's what's happening and stay friends with him or work something out because it's not healthy to keep doing this whole back and forth thing.
Who's gonna do stuff in general for her now?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's going to make her
Who's gonna
breakfast?
carry the bag?
Devin.
Well, no, it's not just do stuff. She said he would buy her stuff in general and buy her breakfast. So I think that's just what he misses. She's got to pay for her own McDonald's breakfast now, and those hotcakes, they get pretty expensive.
They can
So
add up.
So I don't. Yeah, I thought because I could see the paper from over here, Ryan's paper, and I was like, yeah. As he was reading it, I was like, does that say 22? I was like, oh God.
That's my age.
I was like, wait a minute, I was 22 like a year ago, and I don't remember this happening. So
Nah, I want to introduce some special guests in the studio. We have a professional football player and a famous YouTuber. Yeah, and they're a couple. So we've got John, and is the camera on John? So John, as you can see, is pretty beefy, and it's because his job is to,
It's all in the legs.
under job description, he writes kick football through goalposts. So do you want to describe like how you landed this job?
Well, it started when I was a freshman in high school, and I could kick the ball really far. And there's not much else you can do with that skill, so I became a professional football player.
There is like a target, kicking things into shelves. No,
Yeah.
I don't think you work as a stock boy.
Yeah, I saw that Disney movie where the garbage man kicked
Oh yeah.
was kicking his garbage truck and became a kicker. So it's like, I'm not gonna become a garbage man. I think I'll become a kicker.
When
Go
did you
straight to
figure out
professional football. So he's with the Detroit
Lions?
Lions. I was gonna say Eagles, and I was like, no,
Philadelphia.
that's not a team.
That's a
that
team,
a
but
team?
it's Philadelphia.
Oh yeah. Well, they're both like big beasts of cat prey, right?
Lions and Eagles.
Tigers? Oh no, one's
How
a bird.
are they? One is,
I'm not good at math.
They're
What is a
both
bird?
kings of something, kind of.
So you two met when he was kicking for the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
So how many? If I said to you, like, how many points did you score with the Buffalo Bills? Because kickers are usually the highest scorers, right?
Yes, I had a lot of points. 0 points with the Buffalo Bills. I just did kickoffs with them. So unfortunately, I hit it through the uprights a few times, and they gave me no points. So,
Dang.
I know.
A kickoff went right through the uprights?
They did, a few of them.
I've always wished that would be worth 1 point.
I do too. I agree.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then this is your girlfriend, Laura.
Says Laura.
Who's like my
Hello.
god niece, and
Oh, yeah.
she's from Buffalo, New York. And talk about your YouTube channel.
Well, it's pretty
Go
new.
really close to the mic.
Okay. It's pretty new. I moved from Buffalo, not permanently, but I would do all of my friends' makeup all the time, and they were like, "You really left us hanging. We have no idea what to do with our faces." So it started off kind of like
Selfish much?
Yeah. It started off kind of like that. They were like, "Well, just make a video for me or something." And I was like, all right. And then people were like, oh, I've always actually been interested on like what you were doing to your face and like what products you like. So I don't know. I just kind of like ramble and try to teach you as much as I know, but hopefully it's helpful. I'll pretty much do whatever people ask me to, like within reason.
Will you do a shout out to Our Place?
Yeah, I will totally do a shout out to Our
Cool.
Place.
All right.
Yeah, I'll do like an Our Place inspired makeup tutorial.
Okay, wonderful.
But yeah. That's
So
about
what's
it.
your channel? How do they find it?
How do they find it?
Search Laura Wheeler.
You just search Laura Wheeler.
Search
makeup
Laura Wheeler.
or something.
Laura-
Hopefully Laura Wheeler.
Yeah.
And something
Or
will come up.
Makeupanimal.com.
Oh yeah, I have a website. He made it. It's called makeupanimal.com.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I really like animals too.
And John, your football playing boyfriend, is also very techie.
He is.
Yes.
He's very
Yeah.
good in techie. All right, so what is your number? If we watch the Detroit Lions, what number will we look for?
Well, I don't exactly know my number.
Oh.
I would guess. I
He's
think
the worst
it's.
football player ever.
I think it's number 8. I'm not sure yet.
He just got traded.
Yes.
So
My parents liked that I was number 1 with the Redskins because they could buy all the general merchandise. That was just like number 1 fan.
That's so cute. All right, so what else have we got? Bull is in the Bronx, right? So apparently my boyfriend does drugs, but nothing hardcore. Yeah, I know it's bad for you, and people think I should dump him, but I don't believe that. He's really respectful to me, and he knows I don't like them. He doesn't offer me anything, and he doesn't do anything in front of me. He's very respectful, caring, loving, and adorable. We just literally started going out. But what is the real choice I have to make here? Hands are going up. Ryan.
First thought, I don't think I've ever met a high schooler who does drugs and is kind to women, so that's impressive.
Multitasker.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, I don't know about outside high school, but I'm just saying in high school. But I think it's important for you to recognize like what is most important to you in your relationship, because like if he's not doing it around you and he's not doing it in a way that pressures you into anything, then it can be something that you just tell him it's not a good idea and it makes you uncomfortable that he's doing it. But it's important that you know that you have someone who's kind to you and cares about you and you care about too. And that's like the most important thing about a relationship. And the other stuff, as much as it's not great, is something that you can discuss with him, but not have to make a decision on your relationship about unless it gets to a different level.
Okay, but there are red flags that you should look out for. If
Yeah.
it's affecting his lifestyle on a daily basis and you're just on two different wavelengths because he is in an altered state and you are your natural self, then you're just not going to have a lot in common. There's going to be always a disconnect. You're still in the throes of being in love because it's a new relationship, but I don't know of anyone in my experience that has successfully had a relationship with someone for whom drugs was a daily event and the other person was just, you know, a non-user.
I mean, yeah, if it's regular, it's a different story, but I just figured you meant like every now and again at like a party or something, and that might not be a huge deal.
John?
I think you do run the risk of being brought into that into the drugs yourself. If you're with somebody for long enough and they're doing drugs, you're going to be in situations where they're going to offer it to you, where you could be in a position being pressured to do that. So if you know that's not who you want to be or what you want to do, then it's a very risky situation to put yourself in.
Yeah, look what happened to Lindsay in the pilot of Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, sorry, I love that show so
Yeah, I
much.
know.
I remember she smoked weed and then she was just like, I want to die.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
And it's just because she had a crush on Daniel. And he was just going to grow up to be James Franco anyway, so I don't really understand.
Totally
what's
worth
going
it. Totally worth it.
on. Yeah, I know. Does anyone have any personal anecdotal evidence of people dating? Okay, go ahead, Montana.
Okay, completely anonymous, but my boyfriend used to do this to me. But this is before we were going out, so it's like he liked me and I liked him, but we didn't get together for a long time actually because he would do things like this. Like, he would get high, and then I'd be waiting for him, and he wouldn't show up, and then he wouldn't talk to me. And then for a while, I just got fed up, and even though I liked him, I'm like, you know what, I just have to look out for myself and not get into something like this, because honestly, it was just too much work, too tiring.
So you know that I always say that if something is impairing and impacting negatively your relationships and your responsibilities, that is the point at which you know it has become a problem. So if someone is smoking weed occasionally on the occasional weekend, then I don't recommend it for people under the age of 21 because I don't think that you should do drugs or alcohol under the age of 21. And I don't think you can do it responsibly because your brain is still forming.
Developing.
Yeah, still developing. So I don't think the high school kids should be doing anything like that at all. And so this is a high school kid, and you know, your boyfriend was forgetting the girl he liked. So it
wasn't really forgetting.
He was really high.
It wasn't forgetting. It wasn't because of that. He would just kind of ditch me sometimes. But
choosing a drug over Montana, not a good choice.
A lot of it was.
I choose drugs because of Montana.
It wasn't. You know what? It wasn't actually really the drugs. What I found that was more the problem was all his friends were this sort of like they would all do it together, and it'd be this whole like
it's a lifestyle
bro thing, and they're just like, and it wasn't even the drugs. Like he could get high, or like after we started going out, he didn't do any of that anymore, but he still smoked occasionally, and that wasn't a problem at all. But like it was really just the culture, the culture of it.
Yeah.
Real quick, just a personal thing here. I've been close to a person that would take pills. Medical stuff. I don't know wherever they got them from, but it got to the point where I didn't want to be around them, and I had to say something to them, and I had to say, hey, I don't want to be in personal contact with you if you're going to be acting like this. If you're going to do it, that's fine. That I can't stop you. That's up to you. But as for me personally, I'm not down with it, and I got to leave. And so that kind of took them down a different route. If they cared for me that much, or they wanted to be around, they wanted to have that relationship. So it's something I had to say, though, because it was, I didn't want to see this person like this, and it was upsetting to me. And so,
and if this person comes back to you, you'll be there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just the way that you have to treat it when a friend goes down that path. They don't get to drag you down with them. And you do need to make responsible decisions when it comes to friendships, and especially when it comes to romances, because eventually you'll go from sort of enabling them to trying it yourself. And I don't mean to say that that's absolutely going to happen, but that's my fear. Ryan.
My dad is in a similar situation like that. He has a friend who is going down that path, and like they've known each other since they were in elementary school, and they grew up just playing sports and loving sports together. And like my dad, now that I'm kind of old enough, will bring me around his friends, but sometimes he won't let me go to their house because of the things like that, and it bothers my dad too when he won't go. But it's one of those things where it's like, I know how much he means to my dad because they've been best friends since they were little, and he even means a lot to me because he's like pretty much my uncle. But I'm not even allowed to be around him when he's doing things like that, and like that's the terror it can have in relationships if it really becomes a problem. Like, you know, if he's doing well, every week I can go over and watch football at his house. But if he's not, then it's like I'm not even allowed to go.
That's really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. One of my friends did the same thing. He was my friend in middle school and the beginning of high school, and then started doing the same thing that you guys are talking about. And we just kind of didn't. It wasn't like a thing that we even talked about. We just stopped hanging out because we were hanging out with different groups and different people. And it was like we had different interests. So I mean, that's something that your partner should be your friend, and you're gonna want to hang out with similar people or be hanging out. So if you're not in the same, if you don't have the same kind of lifestyle, then there's a danger that it just won't work out.
All right, just things to look out for. So we have a question from Number Girl. My ex and I have been dating again for 6 months. So in other words, she broke up with this person. Now they're dating. They're not calling it a relationship. I need to tell you that up front because I got confused as I was reading through this. He spends every single day with me. We take road trips and have a blast laughing all the time. He picks me up from work every day. We cook together. He doesn't even reply to girls who text him, and he never tries to meet new girls. He spends every free minute with me. He always wants to hold my hand in the street. He constantly tries to kiss me on the forehead in public. He always wants to hold me when we're sleeping. He surprises me all the time with cute things, and I noticed that he stopped hanging out with his friends just to be with me. And I've never asked him to stop hanging out with them, but he refuses to be in a relationship. What is he doing with me? My question
By the
is,
way,
what are you doing?
she's 22 and he's 24.
Yeah, maybe. My question is, what are you doing with him? Because if he's refusing to give this the label that would make you comfortable, then you need to stop. That would be if I were sitting here talking to you, that would be what I would say. Keo?
I mean, the first question that comes to my head is why? Yeah. Like, why not? What did he say when you said? John, did you have something?
I do actually. I actually put Laura in that position.
Oh
I was
my
the guy.
God,
yes,
John,
I.
get out! Leave.
Why? Why'd you do that?
Yeah, why?
Well, I.
He wanted to be a cool NFL player.
Number one.
Is that true?
Yes,
I'm asking him.
That's understandable.
I was in Buffalo. I didn't know how long I was going to be there. I thought I was gonna get released and move teams, so I didn't want to commit to anything and then be in a long distance relationship. But then I was spending a lot of time with Laura. She basically was my girlfriend, but I wasn't putting a label on it. And it kind of took her forcing me to. She literally left me and was like, I can't do this anymore. And I said, fine. I want to be with you. I'll be in a relationship if that's what it takes. So you really have to put pressure on them. Yeah, give them an ultimatum. Say, I'm either leaving you or we're being in a relationship because this can't go on any longer.
And you know what, John? I don't even like the word ultimatum because it sounds so forceful, but so you need to have what you want in your life. So rather than calling it an ultimatum, just simply saying, this is what I need. And if I don't get that, I'm going to leave. It's just like your conversation with your friend. I need you to be sober if we're going to be hanging out. If I don't get that, the only thing, as Matt always says, the only thing you can control is yourself. You can't control other people.
Right.
But her leaving, it wasn't, even if it wasn't framed as an ultimatum, the effect of her leaving changed the way that you chose to behave.
Exactly. It's like what we talked about earlier. You want what you can't have. Once she wasn't willing to be with me, I was like, okay, I got to lock this
down. Keo.
Yeah, I have a friend who went through this, and I don't think they went through an ultimatum, but he would call me and ask me for advice when he would get in trouble or they would get in an argument or something. They were dating, and she didn't want to call it a relationship, but they were basically in a relationship, and I kind of started calling it a relationship because, I would just by accident because of the way that they were together.
Right. How do you refer to them? These two people that are standing right there kissing? Yeah, these two. Oh, you mean the boyfriend? No, those two over there kissing.
Yeah, so it would be like, oh, your girlfriend, or, whatever. She's basically your girlfriend.
That person.
So, it just kind of turned into that for them, so,
Because the rest of the world was framing it that way.
Yeah.
And they
Peer
finally
pressure.
just, inertia, just all right, we're dating. So, yeah, obviously he has deep feelings for you, and it's something, but you need to expect more and ask for what you need.
Well, reading the letter once again here, it is a relationship, whether he wants to admit it or not. If you guys are going on trips and you're laughing, you're cooking together, you're having a good time.
Forehead kisses, come on.
Yeah. You know what that means.
That's...
So, yeah, it is a relationship, whether he wants to admit it or not. And maybe he has issues, he has commitment issues.
Mm-hmm. Or just the title scares him.
But definitely, consider what Keo said. And that's totally true. It totally is a relationship, I think, but ask why.
Yeah.
Because you can't really get to the bottom of anything if you don't know why. Nico?
I'm thinking the fact that he called it a relationship might have something to do with why they broke up originally.
That's a good point.
I don't know, but that's just speculation. I have kind of general advice on dating.
Mm-hmm.
Words of wisdom, 1 second. Hear yourself.
There's two things in a relationship for me. It's your happiness and their happiness.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working to make each other happy, that's a pretty good relationship. If only one of you is happy, that's a bad relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, if you're not getting what you want, you got to make that line right there. You got to make that ultimatum like, they did.
Yeah, you can't just work to make him happy because you're going to get exhausted.
And
if
also-
none of your needs are being met.
And also, there's a reason you broke up with your ex. I really wouldn't suggest dating exes again.
Well, I don't know. I tend to disagree with that because what I find patterns where people will break up and then either get together, back together for life, or get together and work out their issues as to why they broke up the first time and go, yeah, we really aren't going to work out. So
Like the Eagles.
I mean, I have seen a lot of patterns where people break up and they get together and they either get married or they get together and like, yeah, now I remember why we broke up. So sometimes it's necessary, and like when people break up, usually it's like not. I mean, Devin has experiences like this where usually it's not the first time, like it's not the first breakup. It's I don't know. There's more to be. It's
Nope.
You said it. Unfinished business.
No, my girlfriend and I, we broke. We were together for. God, how long were we together for? I don't remember. Just saying that was part of the problem. Was like we broke up because I was out getting drunk like 6 or 7 nights a week. So I could kind of relate to that other question with that girl. She was talking about her boyfriend or whatever. But I mean, I haven't had a drink in like over 7 months, so we got back together because I've got my priorities. Thank you. It's okay. I've been doing a lot of heroin, but that's drinking has stopped.
Yeah, heroin.
Drinking has stopped.
Don't
Our
drink,
out loud,
kids.
we're plugging heroin.
Don't drink. Do heroin if you're 21. But yeah, but then I don't know. We got back together, and then there really hasn't been any problems, or any fighting, or arguing, or anything like that. So I think the problem was me because I wasn't listening, and I wasn't paying attention, and I wasn't remembering things, and so yeah. But then other than that, every other relationship I had in high school, we'd break up 3-4 times.
Yeah,
and
usually to make it take.
try and make it happen. But
Montana.
Okay, so I've kind of been in the same situation where it's like you don't really call it a relationship. And, well, in my case, I kind of did that, which was awful of me. But it's sort of a fear of commitment because, like, once you're in something or acknowledge that you're in something, then you can also be out of it. Like, break up, which sucks. That sucks so much. So if you're sort of in that middle ground, it's like nothing that bad could happen.
No risk.
Nothing could really touch you. It's like...
No risk, no gain.
Yep, that's okay for high school because you're trying to figure out who you are and everything, so I can understand that. But, at some point in your life, it's time to make a commitment so that you can feel all the goodness that comes from really hard work. And
yeah, which is good because I ended up calling it a relationship and it worked out.
But
Okay.
also, like, from an outside perspective, kind of what Keo was talking about, like, most people just see it as a relationship. Like, I didn't know that. I just thought you guys were in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like,
What?
Like, I wouldn't have known that.
Oh, yeah,
Just from being at school and being around
decide-
them, like, I was like, okay, they're in a relationship. So what Q said, like, but she's your girlfriend. Like, it's that kind of situation where to everyone else, it's just a relationship.
Everybody kind of decided that long before we did. So a good tip is to, like, ask your close friends what they think of it. And, I mean, if it's something that's, like, you definitely don't want, don't listen to them. But if...
Am I in a relationship with them? Is that, like, just like that? Like, like let your friends decide for you?
Am I? Yeah.
You're like, Tommy, is he my boyfriend?
Just wondering.
Let's do thread theater, guys. Does anyone have parts that they would want to call?
I like Navy Bean because of their name.
Yeah, but it's a really small part, right?
Smiley face, smiley face.
I need you to be smiley face, and Nico, you can be Zakindi, and then, so Montana, you can start it out, and then we'll just work our way through it.
Oh, wow.
Take whatever part comes your way if it's going around the room and you're not
This is
Ryan.
my first time seeing it, so explain it to me.
Okay, so thread theater, what we do is we go into the social network that is our place, and we pull out like an interesting conversation that took place in the app, and I call it thread theater. So we're just acting out things that were typed into the social network that is our place. And curtain up on thread theater, nature nurture. Montana is Navy Bean.
Are babies born with evil inside of them, or are they born naturally good with the environment and surroundings being evil influence?
Winged bird.
Something called the DNA is there during birth. DNA is the basic structure, education, upbringing, environment, surroundings, etc. Either brings out the worst or covers it with layers of goodness. I guess the post-birth atmosphere has got lots to do with the finished product.
Smiley face 000.
I don't believe anything can actually be evil. Most things are good and have good intentions. It's very rare someone will do something bad without some form of good intention behind it, but those good intentions do not justify it before you jump to that. No one is completely evil, and therefore I don't think anyone can really be born evil or become evil if evil doesn't exist. Can someone be born with the intentions to do something evil? No. As a baby, we don't understand anything. We just recognize the needs for nutrition, sleep, and warmth. We can't really be born with our opinions or ideas or values of beliefs. We are all born completely oblivious to those things. We develop our opinions, ideas, etc. as we grow. And as we grow, our ideas and opinions can also become what could be viewed as good or bad. Good or bad, however, is simply good, whatever you believe and support, and bad is whatever opposes your beliefs, etc. Hitler believed that it was important to cleanse the earth of all the people of a certain type. To him, that was good. You would think that what Hitler did was bad because everyone should be alive and happy and equal. No, I'm not supporting what Hitler did. I'm just saying he would have thought it was good, whereas me and many others disagree with him. I've been trying to make that point for such a long time. And no one I say that to understands that, especially because I'm Jewish and they look at me like I'm crazy. I've been trying to convince people of that for such a long time. Sorry.
Zakindi.
Our place out loud where Hitler is right.
Shining endorsement.
Heroin and Hitler. What do we name this episode? Oh my God. Go ahead, Nico.
I believe selfishness is in DNA, and the environment around them influences whether it comes out along with their self-will. We all are selfish at times, whether it comes out along with...
God dang it.
Just read it as Nico and you can read the words.
Okay, fine. When we ask someone out, we get disappointed if they don't say yes. That disappointment is selfish, although no one admits it. When we're at school, we want a good grade, so we turn work in. That's selfish because we only care if our grade is good. We need a tutor. We get one for the selfish reason to pass or increase our knowledge. The tutor also has a selfish motive, money or the satisfaction or bragging rights of helping you. People have jobs to make money. Selfish. Money to get a house, car, stuff you desire. Selfish. You get satisfaction from your job. Selfish. Babies are born. Selfish. Whether they can use this selfishness to their advantage or not without hurting anyone else lies in the environmental factors and self-will. No one is born or will ever be selfless. It's impossible.
Jenny. Devin?
Oh.
I'll be Jenny.
Here we go.
She's British.
Oh, she's British.
She's British, yep.
Sure, but evil and selfishness are very different things. Everyone is born selfish, but no one is born evil.
Bloody hell.
Zakindi.
That's something we disagree on because I believe evil is where selfishness begins.
Winged bird.
Evil is a strong adjective, while selfish is milder. In today's cutthroat world, everybody is selfish to a greater or lesser extent, but that does not make them evil.
Tanya 411.
Describe selfishness, then describe evil.
Smiley face.
Selfishness. When someone does things chiefly for their own success or well-being. Evil. Something all around bad. To want something for yourself may be selfish, but it isn't really bad. To be evil means you have the want and intentions to actually hurt people, or to do things to make people suffer. Selfishness just means you want yourself to be happy. I suppose too much selfishness could lead to evil, but if you let your desire to be happy or get things you want overpower the well-being of others, this can lead you to directly attempting to hurt others so that you can achieve your own well-being and happiness. However, that is not the only source that can trigger you to do evil things. Evil can actually be triggered by good, like if you believe that killing Bob would help the world and others because you want the world to be a better place. Selfishness is not directly related to evil, but it can lead to it.
So Bob is the root of all the world's woes, and we just need to get Dexter to get rid of Bob.
Chapter 1 in Mein Kampf was called Bob.
Yes, let's get Bob, I believe.
It's a good thing there's no Bobs in this room.
So, all right. So
wait, was it really called Bob?
No.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
We all knew that.
I just wanted to say
I
that.
tell, you're so deadpan.
You're so evil.
He's very deadpan. The word selfishness kind of got misinterpreted, or a certain characteristic of all humans became labeled as selfishness within this thread, and I actually wouldn't use the word selfishness because I think selfishness is kind of overly self-absorbed, but the desire to strive for happiness is not selfishness. And since I just saw Jakey's hand go up, I'm going to call on him. Yes. Come over and
just like stand.
join
Hello?
our,
I'm gonna
our
like
prayer
float
circle.
over here. Okay. I'm gonna go from a scientific standpoint because that's always fun for me. Our brains are built to like do two things. One is to like not die. The other one is to just like make babies. That's scientifically like all we kind of are. And evolutionarily, over time, we've built societies, we've developed languages, and they realized that people who were nicer kind of and like worked with the community kind of like survived longer because people could tolerate them, and then they'd get married, have babies, etc. So like we have these things like empathy and all these other things that were built into our brains that in some animals that don't hunt in like packs, they're totally not present. Like scorpions will eat their own young if they're like really hungry. So all these things are just kind of evolutionary byproducts of we like to work together. But now that we've achieved a level of consciousness much more than like sentience, more than other animals, we've kind of transcended that, and our societies are based around not only our genes but how we're raised.
That is really interesting. So the
where big
difference
words.
between animals that tend to travel on their own, like sharks, and pack people, like wolves and... Yes, Jake?
I knocked over a bottle, but it was a cap on.
Very selfish.
Sharks will eat their brothers or sisters while in the womb.
I've never
That's
been that
how
hungry.
awesome
That's
they are.
epic. That's epic. I had a hamster and it had babies, and then I touched one of the babies and it tore its baby's head off because it smelled like human.
I won't say my brother in the womb.
You know
So
what?
is that evil
How-
or selfish?
how
That's
old
a
were
mental
you?
image that I am not going to be able to rid.
It's terrible.
I can't unsee that.
Think about being 6 and seeing it happen.
Wow.
I don't want to think
That's
about that.
traumatizing.
All right, but so the term selfishness that was used throughout this thread, I don't think it's. I know what you're getting at, but I don't think it's the correct term. What is the correct term, Ryan?
Well, I think it is the correct term, but I also think that the way you're looking at it, which is like totally the normal way of looking at it, is that it has this negative connotation that
It
comes
does.
with it.
It does.
And I don't think like literarily it doesn't have that negative connotation. I don't believe. I think it's actually just means self-serving, but it has a bad look at it. So,
Can we just call it the pursuit of happiness, like Thomas Jefferson did?
but someone could say that the pursuit of happiness is selfish.
I don't know that it's selfish because as long as you're not harming someone else.
It's not negative, but it is selfish.
Like, for
and
example,
selfish today carries a negative.
If Montana's
aspect.
mother is happy today, she's going to be nicer to Montana, and so that is not selfish. That is serving all. Go ahead, Montana.
Well, I think the word you're looking for is not like the pursuit of happiness, but the pursuit of like self-keeping
Peace of
alive.
mind, peace of mind and
Preservation.
Fulfillment.
Self-preservation, that was the word.
that's
What
where we
about
get the word
fulfillment?
selfish.
What, fulfillment's a good word, right, Nick?
Absolutely. Why
Okay.
not?
Yeah, of self.
Why not?
I know plenty of selfish people, and the thing is that they block out everybody else's happiness. They don't care if anybody else is happy
Right.
about.
That's how I define the word selfish. It does have a bad connotation.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they just want to be happy, whatever it takes. They don't care if you want to eat this. This is what I want to eat, and we're gonna go here. Oh, and
I hate that guy.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one thing. But then I think the selfishness that they're talking about in this one is just because humans are built to keep sustaining yourself and sustaining life.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. It's just sometimes things get in the way with that. And like Ryan said, you have to bite off its head.
All right. Well, but I do like the way they said, okay, we grant that there is a certain amount of selfishness that is innate, and how do you differentiate between that being sort of okay and evil? And so
Well, I
let's
think-
talk about evil and whether or not you guys believe that actually exists. Yes, you can.
All right,
You
so
may.
you won't hear this from me a lot, Wheezy, but you were right and I was wrong.
All right.
Selfish is by definition lacking consideration for others, and then also concerned with like chiefly one's self-interest.
Mhm.
But so it does have to involve not being careful about other people's
I was going to
feelings
say,
and
was
stuff
Will
like
Smith selfish for pursuing that role in the pursuit of happiness?
that. Did he do it for money? Because then according to Smiley
Maybe.
Face, I believe.
Well, I mean,
No,
he
it's-
selfishly
it's-
spelled happiness incorrectly to
Sure.
get a lot of attention.
Sure.
Go
I didn't
ahead,
know that.
Nico.
I feel like morality in itself is like both a subjective thing and a really stupid idea. Like what's good to you?
You go to a Catholic school.
Well, still. Row, fight the power. You've got one guy who steals food from someone. That guy's gonna view him as evil because he stole what wasn't his. That guy's gonna feed his family with that food. He's good. What is he? It's subjective to people. It's not really something you can judge.
It's the Robin Hood conundrum.
I wanted-
Jean Valjean.
Yes, exactly.
I wanted to answer the question directly and go in a little psychology moment. I learned this from English, so can everyone just go in the app and call me an idiot if I get this wrong?
I would
But-
love that.
I'll already do that.
There's the 3 states of mind. I'm pretty sure there's id, ego, and super ego.
Mhm.
Id is our base desire. Super ego is what we want to be, and id kind of balances the two.
Super ego and then ego balance.
Nico has
Right.
2 ids.
That explains a lot. Id is what you have when you're a baby. It's
Yeah.
basically the thing that tells you, hey, I want to eat.
I want.
Hey, I want to play with that toy. Hey, I want to poop.
Hey.
There we go.
I want to hit another kid with this toy.
I really want to poop and hit this kid with a toy.
Now I understand. I
At the
understand.
same time.
I understand what's happening now.
Super ego is what we get when we're thinking, oh, I want to help people because it's a nice thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then ego balances the two. Like,
Mhm.
hey, I want to give my food away to this person, but I need it if I want to eat tonight. Or, hey, I don't want to murder this person because then I'll go to jail. The id is there to kind of balance it too. So
The ego.
I hate psychology. I'm getting an A in it too.
All right, we have 1 more minute, so I need some closing thoughts. Keo, do you have a closing thought?
Well, I think, like Nico was saying, that
Trying to say.
morality is too subjective to actually define.
Mhm.
And there's no way to have an agreeable definition of what even evil really is.
Right.
What does it mean to be evil? That's
Mhm.
a very vague word. And I think there's no way to truly be selfless, but like you were saying, people aren't naturally selfish. So what do you call it?
We're going to have to close and hold that thought. If this is a great debate, we'll continue it next week. I want to thank all of our guests for being here. Devin, John, Laura, and, of course, Nick V. Thank you very much. We're Our Place Out Loud. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Do heroin.
I've been out there wandering. I've been in here wondering, hoping, reaching, wishing I could find my way.